What if I told you there was only one thing that you needed to start building your self-esteem? And no, it's not money, no, it's not fame, any of those things that might be nice to have or not so nice to have that you might be thinking of right now. But instead, it's one thing that you have full control over and that you can start implementing in your life today. Let's talk about it. So, what is this magical key, you may be asking? Well, the key is discipline. Oh boy, another video about how I should get off my butt and go do things. Yes, that's exactly what this video is here to tell you to do. Go get off your butt and go start being disciplined. Now, unlike the YouTube Shorts or the Instagram Reels or the TikToks, I'll actually explain to you how discipline feeds into this healthy cycle in order to help build your self-esteem. And so first, we need to look at what low self-esteem actually means. And basically what it boils down to is a lack of confidence in yourself to be able to figure something out or to get over a challenge. And so you may then be thinking, okay, well, how do I remedy this? How do I improve at this? And really the only answer is by being disciplined and consistently practicing, consistently challenging yourself at things. Because by only building up the track record of having consistently gone through challenges, trials, and tribulations, will you then have something to look back at and realize, hey, I can actually do this. I've been in much worse before this. And the other major component of it too is that you can begin to look at yourself in a more positive light on a day-to-day basis if you're disciplined. Because through being disciplined, you're basically doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so by doing what you're supposed to be doing every day, even when you don't want to do it, you can look back and basically just be proud of yourself in the fact that you were able to overcome your lack of motivation or lack of desire to go and do something and realized, hey, I can still stick with this. I can still stick to it and go do it. The nice part about this advice of being disciplined and consistently doing things that are difficult is that if you stay consistent for a long enough time, they're ultimately, you're going to start to see the payoff of them. And this applies to many different facets of life. So starting off, for example, physically, if you exercise consistently over time, maybe starting out with moderate exercise and then eventually moving up to vigorous exercise, provided you do it with correct form. Obviously, I'm not encouraging anyone to go out and start exercising really vigorously with poor form because ultimately it's going to lead to injury. But as long as you're using correct form and you're exercising consistently, you're going to ultimately improve your overall physical health over time. Additionally, you can look financially. So, for example, if instead of purchasing something you may want right now, but instead you save or invest that money, then ultimately you can start to grow that money and have it build towards some future financial goal you may have, depending on what part of your life you're in. That may be putting a down payment on a house, that could be saving up for retirement, or other various things. Additionally, you can also look emotionally. So, for example, taking time out of a super busy schedule to consistently meditate or practice mindfulness to, again, sort of give your brain that sort of reset that it needs so that you're not allowing negative emotions to build up over time. Additionally, you can look spiritually. Now, obviously, this is going to vary and be subjective from person to person based on their spiritual beliefs. But basically, if you stay disciplined in not allowing certain cultural norms that may go against your spiritual beliefs, ultimately, this will allow you to be more whole in your spirituality, and it won't allow these cultural norms to dilute your spirituality in any way. Additionally, intellectually, if you are consistent in putting in time to learning and trying new things and sort of challenging yourself mentally, you're ultimately going to help to keep those neuron pathways firing and keep your brain more active, which is also part of why I think some of that research came out where people who had done consistently challenging things to try and keep their mind sharp ultimately was able to help in older individuals. It helped to stave off dementia. The dementia still ultimately came on, but it was more of a delayed onset in those that had basically taken the time to be more disciplined and challenge themselves intellectually. And lastly, I think also this can apply socially. Even if you have some sort of social related disorder, be it social anxiety or something else, I think if you consistently try and put yourself out there and be social, then ultimately it'll eventually get easier and easier over time as you become more and more familiar with those various social situations. And one last note I will say too, it doesn't apply specifically to this topic, but it's more just about hearing advice in general, is that if you hear a piece of advice and you can apply it to many different facets of life, so sort of like all the different parts of life that I had mentioned before, specifically with this advice of being disciplined, that turns out to ultimately usually be the best advice, as obviously it's going to help to improve your life the most in a wide range of areas. But yeah, that was pretty much everything I have for you today. Pretty much just go out every day and be disciplined in moving towards your goals and moving towards what you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.